Hello viewers, I am Bhikshamaya Chalakani, Assistant Professor of Physics from Government Degree College for Women, Nalgonda. I am going to deliver a lecture on magnetism. Magnetism. The property of any object by virtue of which it can attract a piece of iron or steel is called magnetism. Okay, it is the property of the object which attracts the tiny particles of iron or steel. Okay, that is the magnetism property. Magnetic phenomena are universal in nature. The word magnet is derived from the name of an island in Greece called Magnesia, where magnetic magnetic ore deposits were found in 600 BC. Okay, it was derived. The name, the magnet word, was derived from the name of an island in Greece called Magnesia. Okay. Mm, Name of the island is Magnesia, so where magnetic ores deposits were found. Okay. They attract the iron particles. So that was the origin for generation of the word natural magnet. So a natural magnet is an ore of iron which attracts small pieces of iron, cobalt, nickel towards it. That is the natural magnet. So any material which available in nature which possess the attracting property, that one is called the natural magnet. We do not make it artificially. That is the natural magnet. So such magnets are found. Magnetite or lodestone is a natural magnet. The lodestone, it is because freely suspended thin long piece of magnetite points in north-south directions. Okay, if we take the thin long piece of lodestone or magnetite and we suspend it freely, it aligns in north-south directions. That means it is showing the directions that is being attracted by the geometrical earth magnet, geographic earth magnet. Therefore, it is natural magnet. The artificial magnet, a magnet which is prepared artificially in laboratories or in industries, is called an artificial magnet. So the examples for artificial magnet: bar magnet, an electromagnet, a magnetic needle, a horseshoe magnet. There are other magnets. See, these are the artificial magnets. An electromagnet means it is a coil consisting electric current that act as an electromagnet. Okay, the field direction is along the axis of the electromagnet. That means along the coil, axis of the coil. Bar magnet, you see the properties of bar magnet. When a bar magnet is freely suspended points the north-south direction. Okay, the tip which points to the geographic north is called the North Pole, and the tip which points to the geographic south is called the South Pole of the magnet. So we have to hang the bar magnet freely with the help of a thread, a thin thread. The bar magnet points in so along the directions of a geographic earth magnet. Okay, so the tip which is along north direction, that is North Pole. The tip which is along geographic south is called the South Pole of the magnet. So whenever we take a bar magnet on a paper, white paper, and we power the iron filings on that around the magnet such that it covers some area. So the iron filings are attracted more at poles, or at the poles of the magnet or at the tips, the end points of the magnet. So the iron filings are attracted more at the tips and less at the middle of the bar magnet, and they form lines, smooth curves. Okay, so that pattern of iron filing suggests us that the magnet has two poles. However, a however an electric dipole possesses two poles. Okay, so electric dipole possesses two poles. One is a positive pole and another one is negative pole. Here, in comparison to that, the bar magnet possesses two poles. One is north pole and another one is south pole. The magnetic field lines of a magnet or a solenoid form continuous closed loops. So they form continuous closed loops. So that means, okay, continuous closed loops. So that means if we see the field lines, so the direction of field lines are from north pole to south pole outside the magnet, and inside the magnet south to north. In that way, totally they form continuous lines, the closed loops in particular direction. The tangent to the line, the tangent to the field line at any given point gives the direction of magnetic field at that point. At that point. So in order to know the direction of magnetic point at a point, we have to draw the tangent to that curve at that point. So that shows us the field direction. More number of field lines crossing per unit area indicates the stronger is the magnitude of the magnetic field at that point. Okay, so if you take a particular area at any place, if you find more number of lines as compared to other area, in that area wherever you find more field lines, there the field strength is high. The magnetic field lines do not intersect. So as we are saying here, the tangent to the field line gives the direction of the field. So whenever the two lines intersect, so at a point, so we can draw two tangents in different directions. So however, so if there exist two lines, two curves, obviously there exist two tangents at that point wherever they intersect. So the two lines, the tangent lines indicate the two directions of the field at that point. So, but it is contradictory. At a single point, the magnetic field existing in two directions. It is not the case in reality. It should not be the thing. Therefore, they do not intersect. So this is the underlying meaning. So in this case, magnetism. Now, so those are the broad idea of magnetism and what are magnets, what are natural magnets and artificial magnets, and what are the properties of field lines we have seen. Now, from here onwards, we see what is the origin of magnetism. So, from where the magnetism property is coming to a substance, okay, or a material. We see that one, magnetism, the origin of magnetism or magnetic property of materials. So, all materials, metals, semiconductors, and insulators are said to exhibit magnetism. They exhibit magnetism. The the origins are here. The magnetism in solids arises due to orbital motion of electrons, and spin motion of electrons, orbital motion of electron and spin motion of electron. And another one, change in orbital moment induced by magnetic field. That means whenever the external magnetic field is applied, there would be change in orbital magnetic moment. Okay, because of that change in orbital magnetic moment, also some magnetic field would be induced. So that is one reason. And another one, the spin motion of the nuclei. The spin motion of the nuclei or nucleus. So that is also responsible for the generation of magnetic property to the substance. Okay. So if the magnetic property or magnetic moment exists because of spin motion of the nucleus, the nuclear magnetic moments are formed. So those nuclear magnetic moments give rise to nuclear paramagnetism. So it is very weak. The magnetic moment values are smaller, therefore they form paramagnetism. The magnetic moments of nuclei are of the order of 10 power minus 3. So it is smaller than the magnetic moment of the electron. So that is Bohr magneton. So this value is smaller than that one. Okay. The major contributions. So above four are the reasons or reasons for the generation of magnetic property. So, but majorly, we majorly the contribution comes from the spin of unpaired valence electrons. If there exist unpaired electrons, and because of the spin motion of unpaired valence electrons, permanent magnetic moments are formed. Okay, so they are much responsible for paramagnetism and ferromagnetism also. The nature of magnetization produced depends on the number of unpaired valence electrons, and on the relative orientations of the neighboring magnetic moments. So because of spin motion of electron or orbital motion of electron, or the change in magnetic moment of orbital change in orbital magnetic moment due to the external field. So whatever it may be, at first magnetic moments are formed if they in certain directions. The orientation of such magnetic moments also responsible for the magnetism. So for the nature of the magnetism. Okay, depending upon these factors, so the magnetic materials are classified into five classes. So they are given here: diamagnetism, paramagnetism, and ferromagnetism, and the antiferromagnetism, and ferrimagnetism. Okay. So in case of helium, so which in ground state, it is the electron configuration 1s2. Uh, the spin and orbital magnetic moments both are zero. Spin magnetic, since they are paired electrons in same energy level in opposite directions, therefore spin is zero and the orbital magnetic moment also zero. But there is some magnetic induced magnetic moment is there, so that is very small, minus 1.9 into 10 power minus 6, and hence these induced moment is responsible for the generation of diamagnetism property to the helium. Okay, that one. Right. Diamagnetism. So the magnetic moment is always in diamagnetic materials. The magnetic moments are always directed opposite to the applied magnetic field. Okay. So if we apply some external magnetic field, so the magnetic moments in diamagnetic materials align in the direction opposite to the direction of magnetic field. Okay. So in case of paramagnetism, so there is a weak effect. So but the magnetic moments are aligned in the direction of the external field. So the diamagnetism also weak one and paramagnetism also weak one. So compared to diamagnetism, it is somewhat higher, and it is also a weak effect, but the magnetic moments in this case are aligned in the direction of the external field, external magnetic field. Okay. In case of ferromagnetism, we observe strong effect and arises when adjacent magnetic moments align in the same direction. They align themselves in the same direction. That means in the direction of field. So in case of ferromagnetic materials, the magnetic moments align themselves in the direction of the field. So that means without application of external field also, here we observe the magnetic property. So the magnetic moment, it is because of alignment of magnetic moments in same direction. Okay, that is the ferromagnetism. In antiferromagnetism, the adjacent moments are equal and opposite to each other, and those moments cancel each other. Okay, so in antiferromagnetic materials, the magnetic moments exist, the permanent magnetic moments exist, and they are in opposite directions. Therefore, they cancel each other. Okay, in perimagnetic materials, permanent magnetic moments exist, and the adjacent magnetic moments are unequal in magnitude. So, and opposite also, but because of unequal magnitude, they do not cancel each other. So there exists some non-zero magnetic moment in particular direction. So these are these are the properties of ferrimagnetic materials, and these ferrimagnetic materials are also called as ferrites. Ferrites. So here a pictorial representation is there to get the idea, quick view. So it is a paramagnetism. So here we have observed some external magnetic field. So these are the magnetic moments. So represented by the arrow vector, we can say is having some direction and magnitude. Therefore, they are aligned in random directions, but majorly there is net magnetic moment in the direction of the field. Okay, so it is the arrangement of magnetic moments in paramagnetic materials. In case of ferromagnetic materials, the magnetic moments align themselves in particular direction. Okay, so in that way the material gets this property. So if the magnetic moments are aligned in this way, so the adjacent to magnetic moments are opposite in direction, that is responsible for antiferromagnetic magnetism. So in case of ferrimagnetic materials, the magnetic moments, adjacent magnetic moments are in opposite directions, but not equal in magnitude, and hence they do not cancel each other, and there is some non-zero magnetic moment in particular direction. Okay, that one. So diamagnetism. So we have seen the different classes. From here onwards, we study in detail about particular magnetic material. At first, diamagnetic materials, diamagnetism. After that, paramagnetism. After that, ferromagnetism. Later, the remaining. So in this lecture, we discuss diamagnetism only. So revolving electron constitutes a current. So it is well known. We study in electromagnetic theory also. So revolving electron or any charge constitutes a current. Okay. When so they constitute a current, that means we can imagine the path of the electron as a current loop. Okay, the path of the electron is a current loop or a circuit. So when phi b, a circuit or closed circuit, we can say, when phi b, that is magnetic flux linked with such electric circuit is changed. Whenever the flux is changed, an induced current is set up in that circuit in such a direction so as to oppose the change in flux. Okay, induced current is set up in the circuit but in a direction so as to oppose the change in flux. Okay, according Lenz law. So the induced magnetic field, because of this induced current, some magnetic induced magnetic field will also be generated. That induced magnetic field direction is opposite to the external field direction. The induced field direction is opposite to the external field direction. Okay, that one. So the magnetic field of the induced current is opposite to the applied field and produces the diamagnetic effect. This one is producing the diamagnetic effect. So it is the reason for, so the magnetic moments are opposite to the field direction. Okay, that one. Susceptibility is very small. In case of diamagnetic materials, the susceptibility is very small in magnitude and a negative. The diamagnetism exists in all materials but is usually suppressed due to the presence of stronger effects. So whatever the material, whether it may be para, ferro, and other materials, in those cases also diamagnetic property exists, but because the quantity that is small in magnitude and that diamagnetism property is suppressed due to the presence of stronger effects. Okay. Now, Langevins classical theory. Let the electron of an atom revolves around the nucleus with frequency omega naught in the external field in a circular orbit of radius rho. So here, so we are talking the induced magnetic moment whenever the external field is applied. So here, two things are there. A material is there. In the material, the atoms are there, and the material is kept in the external magnetic field. Therefore, we are considering the electron of an atom which is revolving around the nucleus in a orbit of radius or rho with a frequency omega naught, and the external field strength is B, capital B. Okay, so that is the thing. So from that we calculate the resonant frequency. So after that, what happens if we change the magnetic field? We change the magnetic field. Okay, that one. So when the field changes, the current changes, the induced current changes, and hence the frequency of revolution changes. Okay, it may be induced current also. Whenever the field changes, the current due to the current due to revolving electron changes. Whenever the current is changing, so we see in the next slide how the current is linked with the frequency of revolution. Okay, therefore current, if the frequency of revolution changes, current changes, and vice versa. If the current changes, frequency of revolution also changes. Therefore, whenever the field changes, the current changes, and hence the frequency of revolution also changes. We add one term corresponding to this point in the next step, but here we are writing a step corresponding to this. Whenever the electron is revolving around the nucleus, so it is the equation. So there is the centripetal force is equal to the Coulombic force. Okay, Coulombic force. Here ZE is the is, okay, it is the nucleus. ZE is the nuclear charge, and M is the mass of electron, and E is the charge of the electron. And rho is the distance of electron from the nucleus. Rho is the radius of the electron from the nucleus. That we can say the radius of the orbit. Okay. So from above equation, we are writing this one simply by writing omega square is equal to Z E square by 4 pi m rho square. Actually, square. Let us see. Actually, here it should be rho square only. In the presence of a magnetic induction B, that means the presence of external magnetic field, the force on electron. It is the equation 1 is the equation in the absence of external magnetic field, and therefore this omega naught is the natural frequency. That means the frequency of resolution uh, when there is no effect of external magnetic field. So in the presence of a magnetic induction or external magnetic field, there exists a force on revolving electron. That force equation, you can call this force as magnetic force on a charge. F is equal to E V cross B. Actually, V cross B. It is a vector, and V is a vector, and B is a vector. E is the charge of the electron. Now we are writing V is equal to rho B. V is equal to rho B. So this force equation is maximum when V is perpendicular to B. So that means this force equation is maximum when V is perpendicular to B. V is the velocity of revolving electron. Velocity of revolving electron. That means the velocity continuously changes in the orbit. So therefore, the continuous changing direction should be perpendicular to B. That is possible when velocity of revolving electron confines to a plane. That means, so if the electron is revolving in a plane and the plane is perpendicular to the applied field, in that case the force is maximum. Okay, V is perpendicular to B means plane of orbit of electron is perpendicular to the external field. Okay, here we are taking this as maximum, and we are substituting V is equal to rho B. So we get this. Rho B is there, and E omega. Sorry, here it should be omega. So here it should be omega. V is equal to rho omega. Right. So if V is equal to R omega, similarly rho omega radius into angular velocity, we get this equation. So this one. Therefore, now next, so we are adding this force. We are adding this force to equation 1. We are adding this force to equation 1. Here we are getting, so it was earlier equation. Now we are seeing here. Here it was earlier equation. We are adding this. So since the force the force is opposite in direction, we are introducing minus sign. Okay, here it is the equation totally in from first equation number 1. There omega naught value is given, Z e square by 4 pi rho cube is there. Therefore, one rho is lacking here. Therefore, we are multiplying and dividing with rho. So it is the equation. In this equation, we are simplifying simply. So rho is common and m is common in two terms. So in that way, we are dividing with m by rho. Sorry. So m is common and sending m towards this. So totally it is the equation. So it is a quadratic equation in terms of omega square ax square plus bx plus c. A is 1, b is eb by m, and c is minus omega naught square. So just like that. So we can write the roots of this quadratic equation. So here we are writing the roots. We are taking one approximation. EB by m is much less than omega naught. Okay, using this approximation, the root value omega is equal to plus or minus omega naught minus EB by 2m. Okay, it is the frequency. So it was the natural frequency, earlier frequency, and this is the term corresponding to frequency, the correct term or some additional term. So this indicates us that, so if we take only plus sign, omega naught minus EB by 2m, that means value is decreased. So, and if we take minus sign, omega naught minus EB by 2m, minus times minus, that means some plus. So some value increase, okay, the omega value increases. So the plus or minus indicates that, so here signifies that the electrons with orbital moments parallel to the field, that means if we take plus sign, the orbital magnetic moments are parallel to the field direction. In that case, so the magnetic moments, the electrons are slow down. So in another case, minus sign, when the orbital magnetic moments are anti-parallel and the corresponding electrons speeded up. Okay, they are speeded up. Okay, this is the significance. The change in frequency, whenever here there is the change in the frequency is there. So here frequency change is there. The change in frequency produces an additional current. So therefore, the additional current value, the corresponding, there is the frequency change, the current corresponding to this frequency change is I. So the current equation is charge into revolutions per unit time. So that is the frequency. Okay, I is equal to charge of the electron and omega by 2 pi. Omega by 2 pi. It is the omega corresponding term, and it is omega by 2 pi gives us f frequency per frequency. Therefore 1 by 2 pi times this one, totally I is equal to this one. Now, so here we are seeing, so the magnetic moment definition, the magnetic moment of electron is equal to current into area. So current in a particular loop into area of the loop. Therefore, we are taking this current value and area pi r square. So earlier equation there was pi in denominator. So pi into rho square is area, pi is cancelled and this one resulting one. Here mu is the magnetic moment vector and B is the magnetic field. Okay, the negative sign tells us that the electron magnetic moment is opposite to the field direction. It's opposite to the field direction. Here, one thing we have to remember. So, E2, it is, we are seeing E2, but actually it is not E2, E square. It was, I was not getting to write in this form. So, E2 indicates us that E square here. So please remember this. If B is not perpendicular to the plane of the, in earlier case we have seen, so that was the equation, whatever we have derived, the equation when we take V is perpendicular to B or plane of perpendicular is perpendicular, the plane of orbit is perpendicular to B. Therefore, it is not possible in all cases, all times. Therefore, if B is not perpendicular to the plane of the orbit, then rho represents, so instead of rho square, we have to take this, the expectation value of rho square, the average value of rho square. So that is the reason to incorporate this. Okay. So actually rho represents the projection of the radius of the orbit in earlier equation. It is the rho in earlier equation, the projection of the radius of the orbit on a plane perpendicular to the magnetic field. That means we have to take always the radius which is perpendicular to magnetic field direction only in this above formula. It should be a radius which is perpendicular to the field. So to calculate that, we are taking this. So, and it is for one electron and for Z electrons. In an atom, there are Z electrons. In that case, we are multiplying with Z. Okay, totally we get here Z E square by Z E square B by 4 pi m, the expectation value of rho square. So since the charges, the electron charge distribution around the nucleus is spherically charged distribution, therefore in case of spherical charge distribution, uh, r square is equal to this one, 3 by 2 times rho square. The expectation value of r square is equal to 3 by 2 times expectation value of rho square. From this equation, we are getting rho square and we are substituting rho square in above equation. Okay, 2 by 3 times r square. So here I am writing. So in this equation, we have written just like this. From this equation, we are seeing from this equation. So it is written here. So rho square is there. Rho square is given here, and this one mu a is equal to z e square b by 6m minus time c there and rho square. So it is the atomic. Whenever the Z term is included, it is the atomic magnetic moment. So the atomic magnetic moment is this one. It is in term magnetic induction, and it is in terms of field strength H. Okay, but according the definition, so we see here we are seeing a solid that is for only one atom. If there are n number of atoms in taken solid per unit volume, capital N is the number of atoms per unit volume. So in that case, the magnetization. Therefore, we are multiplying at first to get the total magnetic moment per unit volume n times the above equation, and the magnetization is defined as the magnetic moment per unit volume. Magnetization is defined as the magnetic moment per unit volume. Therefore, per unit volume is here, it is covering. So the total magnetic moment per unit volume gives the magnetization of the solid. The magnetization of the solid. Okay, it is the equation M is equal to this one. But the susceptibility is defined by this relation. Magnetization of the substance for the application of unit strength. Okay. So the magnetization per unit applied strength. Okay. M by H. Therefore, from above equation, by bringing H towards LHS, psi is equal to minus n mu naught Z square by 6m into r square. So here the calculation of susceptibility of diamagnetic material, we got the expression, and it can be calculated when we calculate the expectation value of r square. It is directed to calculate the expectation value of r square, and this one is called the classical Langevin result. So even in quantum theory of Langevin also we get the similar expression. Okay. So and this equation is telling us that the susceptibility is negative, and the susceptibility is independent of temperature. So in this equation, we are not observing the temperature capital T. Okay, therefore, the diamagnetic susceptibility is independent of temperature, and diamagnetic property exists at all temperatures. So with this, here I am stopping. So in this lecture, we have studied what is magnetism. So what are natural magnets? What are artificial magnets? What are the reasons for generation of magnetism? How many types of magnetic magnetic materials are there. So there are five types: dia, para, ferro, antiferro, ferric magnetic materials. Okay, and we have studied in detail about the diamagnetism. So the classical Lenzman theory of diamagnetism. So according this, finally we have derived this equation, and from this diamagnetic susceptibility is negative, and it is very small value in the order of 10 power minus 6 in case of helium atom. So that is the diamagnetic material. That means it exhibits diamagnetic material nature, and its diamagnetic susceptibility value is minus 1.9 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, and the diamagnetic nature exists at all temperatures. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, like it, please do share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much.